YouTube and Twitter. I'll share the links thereafter, but the idea of creating this page was more of a community where people can come learn new things around this field. We run a lot of quizzes, interactive sessions on our page, so I request everyone to, kind of check out the page and have a great learning as such. And I'm based out of Bangalore here in India. So with that, I think I can get started. Feel free to share your questions on the chat window. I'd be happy to take them towards the end, or if there's somebody moderating it, I'd be happy to take up these questions. But yeah, for now, I think the idea is to look at what challenges and opportunities are there in this industry. I'll not get very specific into some of the details, given this is the first time that we are talking to the Data Science East Africa team. But having said that, we do plan to have talked to Harun how we plan to do a lot more in the future and how we can collaborate and engage to bring some of the content that we kind of work towards. So with that, I want to first thank the team for inviting me and giving this opportunity. And yeah, so let's get into what I kind of plan to do today, or in the next 45 minutes. We briefly touch base on machine learning algorithms, when, where, and how do we apply them? What are the challenges in this industry? What is the future? How can you adopt some of the best practices of the industry to solve machine learning problems? And how can one get started on this field? So that's the broad agenda, followed by we can have like a 15 minutes Q&A session. I hope that kind of works. So feel free to shoot your questions on the chat window. I'll be happy to answer them all. Great. So let's do, even before we jumpstart, right? Let's take a look at identify the number of twos on this particular session. You can just drop your answers on the chat window. I want you to take a look at this image and kind of tell me how many numeric twos do you see on this image? Feel free to take a random guess. I mean, there's no right, wrong answers, but I just want to see what people think. Somebody's saying 9, 3, 5.
You can use the chat feature or open your mic.
Yeah, no, the chat window should just be fine for now. At the end, the Q&A, I'd be happy to open the mic and, we can talk further. Great. So the idea is I'm seeing a lot of varied answers. I'm seeing somebody saying a lot, somebody is saying 10, 8, 7, 3, so on and so forth. So why is there a discrepancy in the number of twos that we are seeing here? That's basically because we've been trained to kind of look at numeric twos in a way. Here's one segment which most of you might have identified as twos. Some of you might have also considered this as a two, this one as a two, or even some of these which are in red. Right, so that is primarily why we are seeing different twos here, and it's all about how we are interpreting what a two is, or how humans have been taught how to interpret what a two is, and that's fundamentally the basics of machine learning, right? Where machine learning systems discover hidden patterns in data, or what we've been taught as a two is something that when we look at it, we kind of predict which one of these are two. So tomorrow, if I were to ask, without you knowing any of these numbers, if I were to ask you what these were, you wouldn't know what it is, which is what the fundamentals of machine learning does. Basically teaches or helps us understand what those are and kind of asks you to predict. And that's where you are kind of predicting or giving me those answers. So I'm just trying to stick to this analogy for a bit. We'll come back to it later and, kind of talk more about this, but that's the idea of, I just wanted to put it in a very, very layman term, where machine learning is to help machines learn what it is and then make predictions on data that it hasn't seen, right? So when do we use it? What are some of the use cases where we use machine learning? I know most of you might have been at different levels of expertise in this field, so I'm not going to do a little too much of it, but just going to skim through it so that we utilize our time more efficiently. So when do we use it is basically when there are patterns in data. When I see there is, we don't know what they are, but perhaps especially when we don't know what they are is when we ideally might want to use machine learning. That's one way of looking at it. The other way is when you're not able to functionally draw relationships mathematically, because otherwise you could just codify it or make an algorithm out of it. When you cannot do that, perhaps that's when you use machine learning as such. Or the other use case is when we have a lot of unlabeled data, basically data sets which are of high dimension, totally not so labeled or does not have a classification. So that's when we kind of use machine learning as well. So, and the why behind it is basically in the last decade or so, there's been a whole lot of flood of data that's available. Computers have gotten cheaper and humans have gotten expensive, which is why we have a lot more processing power now to do than before. Growing progress in algorithms. These algorithms, if you see some of these machine learning algorithms have always been in the industry since a very, very long time, but they're coming into limelight or focus point now because of the data availability, because of the computers being cheaper, so on and so forth. And finally, machine learning, we believe, gives us superpowers, which you understand when you solve problems. I'll not get deeper into that, but that's why we want to call that as a superpower to, solve problems. And here's a simple representation of various machine learning algorithms that are there, just a small snippet of it, not exhaustive, but you see there are different classification of machine learning algorithms in itself, right from deep learning, ensemble, neural networks, regularization, regression, clustering, so on and so forth. But the idea of when to use which algorithm is the most important thing. And that comes when you solve problems end to end. And that is when you kind of look at what problem needs to be solved through what technique. And that is when all of these kind of come into, making more sense as to which one to use where. Moving on, I'll just see if you can throw some. I know there are folks here. Again, we'll use the chat window to see if you can throw some examples where data science and machine learning is used to solve real world business problems. If you can just type out some business problems where you think machine learning can be used or being used or somewhere that you've already used, I'd be happy to take a look at it so that I get a sense of what kind of problems you've solved or what are you, closer to. Facebook, yeah, in terms of comments, in terms of facial recognition, absolutely, face recognition. What else? Financial problems, yeah, transaction data, cancer research, and early detection of disease, totally. Chatbots, yes. Satellite image processing, customer churn prediction. Great. All of those are right. And I just want to, for those to just expand a slight bit of horizon around these, I've just put some bit of machine learning problems as such, where the most favorite one that I have is at least the pattern recognition one, which we use on a day in and day out basis when we use our mobile phones to unlock the screen. That is where a whole bunch of neural networks are fired in the back end to kind of unlock your phone based on facial recognition, right? Absolutely, speech recognition. So medical images, sensor data, IoT, that's a whole lot of problem solving in the field of pattern recognition. Text analytics and NLP, where you do sentiment analysis. Somebody talked about Facebook data, or when you're looking at internet, there's a whole lot of data that's available, which can be, analyzed with the help of text and NLP based algorithms. Anomaly detection, somebody talked about fraud detection when you're looking at, credit card transactions or loans, unusual patterns in sensor data through research, I mean, power plants, spam detection, or if you're trying to predict, somebody also mentioned about customer churn, futuristic stock prices, or product recommendations on any of your retail websites. All of these are sample problems where machine learning is today being used either by the company or they have partners trying to solve those problems for them, right? The idea is how can we pick up some of these problems and solve ourselves to kind of get more hands-on. And I'll talk about a touch base on that towards the end as to how can each of you in your journey can start using that as such. So types of machine learning algorithms, I'm sure most of you are familiar. It's more to do with supervised algorithms, unsupervised, and reinforcement. Supervised is where you have your whole training data available, and you're trying to build models like your classification models, regression models, or unsupervised, where you just feed the data to your algorithms to kind of give you the predictions, or an example is clustering or LDA kind of models. Reinforcement, somebody also talked about self-drive cars, right? Algorithm which learns to react to an environment based on an event. That's the reinforcement algorithms. So that's broadly the type of machine learning algorithms can be classified into three big buckets. So now jumping into the next segment, where I just want to touch base on the real world problems that I've seen in this industry in the last, let's say, 9 to 10 years, has primarily been around one of the biggest problems that we see in the industry is shortage of skills, which is why there is a great emphasis on training more people, training them at a very young period of like right outside of college or even during college, so that they're industry ready when they come to the floor to solve problems, right? Shortage of skills is there, and companies, as per Gartner reports I kind of read, where more than 70 by 2024, around 75% of the organizations will shift into an piloting or working on operationalizing artificial intelligence. So in order to do that, there is a big shortage of skills, which is why there's so much emphasis on getting people onboarded into the whole data science journey, through trainings, through curriculums, or through any other ways. The next big way is data has been, there's a flood of data available. Data is there on multiple data sources. How do we bring that data to solve problems when you need them, right? Let's say there's a business problem in hand that you want to solve, let's say a customer churn problem. For that, you need a whole lot of customer data, you need transaction data, you need bits and pieces of data that's available from various sources as such. So which is why bringing in data from multiple sources, let's say permission related issues or vice versa, it's important to bring data to the table to solve that problem, because end of the day, it all depends on how much data is available for you to solve the problem effectively, right? So that's another big challenge, to have the right set of data to solve your problems. And the last one is inaccessible or poor data. Sometimes when I say inaccessible, let's say it's more to do with if you're trying to access private data, if not something that's public. Let's say you're trying to do some text analytics on Twitter data, that becomes your public data, which is readily available. But the moment it becomes customer feedback data, which you do not have readily access to, so that's a very big challenge for us to solve and bring in data. Again, revolves around the second point. That's one. And then the other one is poor data. Let's say you have the data, but it's not in the right format as such. Let's say there are missing values, or there are a whole lot of outliers. It's not captured in the right format, or we have accessibility issues in terms of data being saved in your databases or data storage layers. So these are broadly the three big challenges around the data science industry or machine learning industry, where there's a shortage of skills, data from multiple sources or multiple hoses that are coming in, which needs to be tackled and fed accordingly to solve the problem. as well as inaccessible or poor data. I know there are many more in terms of solving a problem as such, but these are broadly the challenges that the industry kind of faces, right? So I just wanted to touch base on that bit as well. And apart from that, we move on to what does the future really look like in this industry. We've seen in the past when I kind of started, there was broadly a very big business analyst role or a data scientist role that kind of evolved from thereafter. So nowadays we kind of see more data science roles or machine learning roles. Like for example, there are BAs, BIEs, basically business analysts, business intelligence engineers, data scientists, research scientists, ML engineers, ML ops engineers. It's basically getting a lot more defined in terms of in terms of the scope of what people are trying to solve. So which is a great thing to do because the roles are defined, the responsibilities are defined, and in a sense, there is more jobs that have been created around this field, right? That we've clearly seen that. That is why there's so much interest around that to kind of help make more jobs in this field. And then the whole data science education, which has been normalized. So, which is what we're trying to talk about, normalizing or democratizing data science so that everybody can solve problems and not just the ones with a PhD or a fancy degree around this, but trying to bring interdisciplinary skill sets, trying to bring folks from various backgrounds, be it economics, be it engineering or computer science. So come and solve these problems through the best practices that we have in the industry. In a sense, the whole future is definitely looking bright in terms of the roles that have been created in this, not just in, like globally, that's the same pattern. If you look at it in the US or in European countries or here in India, the number of jobs that have been created around this will only continue to increase because there are problems that need to be solved by organizations for their day-to-day businesses to run, right? So the future looks pretty bright, and that's one of the reasons why, if you've seen those articles where it talks about the sexiest job of 21st century is to be a data scientist. So in order to be that, what skill set should I build? A lot of you are already doing that, but just wanted to emphasize on the statistical knowledge that one should be learning. You need to understand the math behind it. You need to understand the statistics behind it. You need to understand the why behind it. Basically, try to codify, have a good grip on coding things. Like it could be any language that you're comfortable with, be it R, Java, Scala, or Python, Julia, whatever. But it's important for you to be equipped with coding skill sets. And then comes the business domain skill sets, right? Problems can be from any domain as such. If it's retail, it's a lot more easier to solve. But if it, let's say, becomes a pharma problem, it involves its own nuances around pharma industry. So it kind of needs you to understand the business domain better. And all of these together, you kind of get a hang to solve business problems. So that's the entire journey that needs, or rather the skill set that needs for this journey to become a data scientist. And how do I build those skill sets? What should one be doing in order to get these superpowers that we call? So the core to that is to really start solving business problems. And while there is a lot of theory that's available, there are a lot of books that are available, but bottom line is to really solve problems. And where to start solving them, I've kind of given just a 4 to 5 starting points where you can pick up problems to start solving them. Many of you might be aware of Coursera, Kaggle. There are a whole lot of hackathons that happen around data science, which kind of throws business problems for you to solve. GitHub repositories where there are including the codes for that particular problem. And many of them kind of ask, hey, where can I pick up some real world business problems or data for that? And 2 big places which has that is the University of California, Irvine has a very nice machine learning repository, which you can access through this link. Or there is another dataset research which is made available by Google, which is dataset search.research.google.com. You type in the kind of data set you want, and you get that readily. So the idea is to start solving business problems which are closer to business and not something which is just theory. And here are some ways to kind of start that, right? So that's one way to get on top of this journey, even before you joining a company or organizations which kind of help you solve those problems, because that is where you kind of build your skill sets, you build your resume, you build your skills to solve a problem, right? And how to do that is just some tools or techniques that can be made available is, I know you can start solving business problems, smaller ones in terms of plotting charts through your Excel, Tableau. You need your SQL skill sets basically to extract data from databases. You would need either R or Python to kind of write codes, or if it's heavy on statistics, get a lot more comfortable with R. Or if you're one of those who likes Python, then Python has tons of data science libraries, some enablers like Jupyter, or for deep learning, some TensorFlow. So this is just a glimpse of you to get your toolkit in place for you to solve problems. End of the day, it doesn't matter how you solve them. What matters is what impact are you bringing by solving that problem, right? Nobody really cares of what lines of code was written, but really, so what was the action by solving this problem on the floor? That's what really matters. And for those who are familiar with R packages, the ones on the left is from the Python, the ones on the right is from R, where there are libraries that are readily available like NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, Pandas, to do your NLP-based problems, the NLTK toolkit. SQLDF is a library used in R to kind of write your SQL queries. TwitterR is a function, package that is used to extract data from Twitter in R. So these are just some ways to get started, to start solving a business problem from any of the data sets available or these platforms, and using these tools to kind of really solving problems as such. So that is where the opportunity really lies. We talked about the challenges, and the opportunity really lies when you solve these problems, or in order to get to that level of being a data scientist to solve problems for organizations, right? So that is what the industry really looks at from skills per se, or expertise in this domain. And lastly, I just want to touch base on how some of these machine learning project roadmaps runs. It is like we kind of typically follow a journey to solve a problem. A lot of it, people kind of directly jump into solving problems like with the help of data, but one of the consulting best practices is to define your business problem well, which is why we want to always define the problem even before we get into solving the problem. A lot of us have the tendency to get into solutioning the problem. For whatever problem, here's a solution, but we kind of want to take a step back and look at how do we really understand the problem fine. So which is why we spend a good amount of time in the industry to solve or to define the business problem right up. And once we do that, we then go ahead collecting data. And once you have the data, we go ahead to transform the data into desired formats. If the data is not so good, then we kind of clean it, do the pre-processing, because garbage in is garbage out. So we want to make sure our machine learning models are giving us the right details or inputs, the metrics as such, which is why it's important to really clean the data set as well. So with that, once you have a cleaner set of data, you then move to exploratory data analysis, building visualizations, building univariates, bivariates, correlation plots, box plots, understand what your data is really trying to say, and start solving some of these hypotheses. And by then you kind of have a good sense of what the problem really is, and you've understood what the data that you have, and then you move on to then the model building phase, and not upfront as such. So the model building phase would then need you to Go back to the very first chart that we looked at, where there were multiple, um, you know, um, algorithms on the chart. So then you pick one of those and you iterate over that algorithm to kind of see what the results look like, train the use the training data to kind of build that model. And then it's an iterative approach, and many of you solve the problem kind of know how long it takes to kind of do that and experiment with other modeling techniques. Finally, you do once you're satisfactory, have some satisfactory results, you also do some feature engineering to improve the model scores, and hyperparameterization or parameter tuning to change some of the variables to see can we better the model stats. Finally, once you're done with that, you evaluate your model, you deploy the model, and you report out all the metrics related to this problem. So that, in a sense, becomes the journey that we follow in the industry to, give the best output and not just directly get the data and start building models. So I would urge everybody who kind of tries to solve that problem, take that, go through the entire journey, because that's when you start ticking all the boxes. And when you're defining a problem, it becomes clear as to what the end goal should be, what should be the metrics you should chase, what kind of algorithms can you try, can you build an ensemble model, or should you try with other experimentations. So it really becomes very, very clear when you go through that process. And like many of you are aware, it is a very iterative process. Once you get stuck at some part, let's say you don't not have enough data to get a good model out of it, then you go back to your data collection step, you bring more data, and you do more of that. So that becomes the entire journey that a machine learning project would take. And in summary, I just wanted to talk about how we talked about the different types of machine learning algorithms. We talked about what skill sets do you need, what are the challenges in the industry, and where does the opportunity in the industry lie, and for that, what skill set should you build. And once you build your skill set, what is the journey that you need to follow to kind of solve problems effectively. And that becomes the roadmap that I was talking about. So this is, in a sense, the challenges and the opportunities that I wanted to talk about today in a very short period of time. And before I open the floor for questions, I would kind of want to just touch base on the page that I was talking about, the Art of Data Science. For those who are on Instagram, can check out, this is the handle, art of data science. And for those on LinkedIn, it's the Art of Data Science page. What we do on this page is to bring a community of data science and machine learning enthusiasts, where we post daily learning content. We post code snippets, weekly quizzes that we run, mostly surrounded around Python, R, and SQL, run hackathons, give away cheat sheets, and many people kind of like the whole data science humor, kind of memes or project ideas. And we do these kind of webinars with other partners and other colleges and curriculum. And we do Q&A interactions and putting people in touch together, along with a lot of market trends and career guidance as well. So that, in a sense, is what we are trying to do through our page called the Art of Data Science. I would suggest you to take a look at it and go through the content, because that is where we've created it in a very, very simplistic fashion. What some of the websites do not give, or what Google doesn't give, it comes from a lot of experience in solving problems, and that's what we've kind of put in these content that we create on our page. So see you on our pages later, but I'm happy to kind of open the floor to take up more questions and answer if there's anything I could, around whatever we talked, or anything outside of this as well. Happy to, take up more questions and comments.
Thank you, Kautik. We are for that really nice presentation. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
some of the members here have questions on
Yeah,
the challenges
sure.
and opportunities in the data science stock machine learning industry. So for the interest of time, we shall take only 3 because we have 2 more speakers.
Yeah,
You
sure.
can use the chat feature or open your mic and ask the question. Then we can proceed.
Sure. I see a question, or a comment which talks about data cleaning or code challenges. I see a question: what exactly is feature engineering? Isn't it a task before model building? Yes, it is a task before model building as well, but sometimes it can be after model building as well. So the process is very iterative. Feature engineering, just to give you a simple example, one of the most used feature engineering techniques is definitely the, let's say, one hot encoding, where you want to transform data that you have in as a rows to multiple columns, where you're adding more features to your model. That becomes a great example of feature engineering, and you typically do that after you build your first raw or a level one model, because you want to see what the basic data is telling you, right? And that is why I kind of placed it after the model building phase, where you would ideally want to do all of this, but you kind of want to see your results that your first iteration is throwing. And then you do feature engineering one, two, three, or many, and then kind of iterate over it. And that is why the position of that was below that.
Thank you. Do you have any other
Um,
question?
yeah. What are some of the ways you can generate new features from a time series data? That's an interesting question. Again, for that, I would really need to take a look at the data as such to see what can we do. But I think one of the ways to see is if we have seasonality, if we have irregular patterns, to kind of convert that into a different feature. Those are just a couple of things on top of my mind, but it really boils down to what problem that you're trying to solve here, and what data that do we have available, and the format of data as such. But it really depends on the problem, but it really needs to see what kind of time series data we have. Yeah, so that's one of the ways we can take a look at it. I'll see if there are any further questions. Maybe we can take a minute or two. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to shoot them on our Instagram page or on our LinkedIn page. I'd be happy to answer them offline. Um, yeah, there's another question from Derek. Do you have any idea to solve problems, say traffic congestion, but how to obtain data is the main issue? What are some of the ways? Totally. That is where some bits or research or around, firstly, for to solve, let's say, a traffic congestion problem, you'd want to now get specific with it in terms of defining your business problem. Let's say you want to decongest. For that, you would ideally want to look at data at what time the traffic is maximum. Then you'd want to ideally look at your routes optimization problems. Then you'd also want to look at, let's say, some sort of image data or video data that has been captured through CCTV footages at different junctions. And you'd also want to look at how can I reroute or divert traffic to go through a different route. So you do a lot of route optimization to decongest traffic as well. So in essence, you need to look at different parameters of traffic congestion and try to solve that problem. That's my take on it. And what are some of the different ways to get that data is definitely that's where the challenge around private data players would not give out these easily. But you can definitely take some proxy variables in terms of routes or timings at which traffic is highest or least, to kind of make some assumptions around it. But again, you definitely need, let's say, video data or image data to have a better grip of solving that problem. I hope that kind of gives you an essence to your question, Derek.
Thank you very much. I think that's all. So for the rest of the members who would want to continue the
Yeah.
conversation with you, could you kindly provide the links to your social media, maybe
Yes.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, sure. I could do that right away. Let me put that on the chat window now so that people can use that. Just hang on. I'm
All
just,
right, thank you. And as we get new members to join in, could you please
yeah.
type in to the group chat where you are coming from and your name? Sorry, that was not for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, new members coming in, you could use the chat feature. And thank you, Kautik.
Yeah, here
So shall
is
we
the
move on to,
page.
pardon?
Sorry. I was just sharing the link on the chat window. Just a second. Yeah, for those who are trying to access, that's the Instagram page. Um, and this is the LinkedIn page. So happy to take up more questions and see you offline. Yeah, have a nice weekend ahead, folks.
It was so happy having you. So really nice having you. And we
Thank
shall have
you.
two more speakers from this for this session. We have Stella and Abdul Naji. Stella is a data scientist, and she will be taking us through maximizing the potential of data science. So Stella, if you are with us, kindly take on the floor.
Thank you so much. How are you? I hope you're all fine. Am I audible? Can you guys hear me? Can I just get a confirmation on that?
Absolutely.
Yes, yes,
Thank
we can
you.
hear you.
Thank you so much. So let me just share my screen. That was a nice presentation. I will basically build up on that and just emphasize on the potential of maximizing this field, and that is that of science. So my name is Stella Waidera. I am a data scientist. I am also a founder of African Tech Girl, just an organization for teaching young kids between the age of 7 to 18 coding and digital skills in general. So let us get into it. So by now we all know the main reason or what data science is. So how can we achieve maximizing this potential, this skill of analyzing data and getting conclusions from it? So I I believe the first way we can do that is widening the access of data science education. For you to be able to maximize the potential of data science, it is vital for us to make sure that we are able to share this knowledge of how to access this education and this skill, just like Data Sciences of East Africa is doing. So just through raising awareness of data science careers, this is through events, webinars, and also hackathons. I think they play such a major role, and just online communities where you can find other developers and other data scientists. And then we address the underrepresentation and evaluate diversity. I think it is very clear that women and ladies, and also just other groups, make up a small percentage of this. So I think it's very important for us to involve those communities and those groups so that if there's a representation in that, individuals can be able to see themselves through those people and through those data scientists, and they can be able to get more involved in this field. So also another point is create the right research and working culture for data science. Um, this is a field that, okay, as much as it has already been there, it's a field that a lot is still being done, just to have that culture of working with data science, working through through the teams, and you can see even such a platform like Data Sciences Africa is offering, is so that we can be able to work towards this and grow in this field of data science. So also just building diverse teams, not just in workplaces, but also in schools and institutions, and yes, even group of friends. And then widening access to data in a well-governed way. I think it's very clear that getting access to data, especially probably like the person who just asked about traffic data, getting access to such data can be a little bit of a challenge because of privacy issue, and maybe the organizations that have that data do not want to release that data for data scientists to be able to explore and make up conclusions from it. So if you're able to have access to more data, we can be able to encourage analyzing data and make conclusions from it. So also donating data science talent. So I hope by the end of this program, you shall also be able to donate the talents that you have to be able to share what you know about data science and to also grow. Sharing your talent will be such a great way of us being able to make sure that you are able to maximize your data science skill and to just grow somebody else's, and then by that we just maximize that potential. um, so what are the goals of analyzing data? We have already been given a breakdown of this, so probably I'm just emphasizing on it. So of course, businesses are interested in data, and not just businesses, institutions, you as a data scientist. So we are just trying to, one of the goals is just to make the business predictive. Through analyzing data, you're able to analyze customer behavior when purchasing a product, analyze not just past and what they're going to do right now with the information they have, but also future. Is this customer able to afford more than what they were able to purchase the last time? Is this customer able to do to recommend this product to their friend after they acquire a certain result? So such things, and also hyper personalized offers. I think with the new wave of what WhatsApp was doing with data, something that popped up, there were so many memes where people were just saying WhatsApp will be able to be using the information that you use on your private chats, and probably just start sending you, or maybe when you're on other platforms, you're starting to see whatever you are looking for in your chats. Maybe you're discussing with somebody, you're able to start seeing offers on that. I think that was one of the areas where people, I'm not saying that's what they did, but people were concerned about. So hyper personalizing offers is one of the main goals of analyzing data, and then understanding and anticipate future customer behaviors. Just like I have said, analyzing, is the customer going to recommend this product to other people after they acquire a certain result, or they purchase it at a certain price, so such, and then predict responses. You can be able to predict that this group of clients is able to get or to react in a certain way after using your product in a certain way through the data you have collected. And then optimize outcomes. You can be, since most companies want to know, you definitely, when you get to business, you really want to, it's every investor's wish to know, okay, am I going to make money at the end of this? Am I going to make losses? And if I'm going to make losses, how can I reduce those losses, or how can I increase the profit from what I have now? So of course, that is such a main role that data is going to play. And you as a data scientist, once you analyze the data, you're able to give such feedback, and the customer is able to know how to navigate and how to manage their business. And then identify potential process improvements with machine learning. So of course, through analyzing data, since of course you're also making predictive conclusions, it's going to help you or help the business in general to be able to make certain improvements, which would be advantageous to the farm, and if it's your program or your farm, to yourself as well. So what are the competitive advantage of early starters for adopting data science? Of course, customer profiling. Through the application of data science, you're able to profile your customer. You're able to know what they would want to do. You can profile, okay, my customer moves from this location to this location every day, so they will need this certain, they will probably, it's you're analyzing data for a fuel company, so you can be able to just analyze, my customer is going to require a certain amount of fuel. Probably they'll also, because of the state of the roads, they might have some spare parts which they might require, or they might need certain oils. So you're able to profile your customer, and you're able to make improvements and benefits the company at large. And then network planning and management. Of course, through data science, even right now, if you go to your social media accounts, where you have the analytics side, you're able to see which you're able to see which times your post was engaged, and which areas that the engagement was coming from. So if it is a business profile, you're able to analyze, okay, so these areas this area seems to have customers who are more interested in my product, and they're able to be consistent in checking out my page and communicate with me and get feedback from me or get feedback from them. So you're able to invest more in those areas. And then pricing strategies. Of course, through the data that you have analyzed, you're able to be wise in how you're going to price that data. I mean, not the data, how you're able to price your goods and your services. You can bounce back to the network depending on where the customer reaction is coming from, the high customer reaction is coming from. You're able to know these areas, I can price them like this. And so once they see this pricing, they're able to react in this way. And in these areas, once I price my good at this point, they're able to react this way. So data science will help us with that. And then new business lines, if you're, and now with the rise of influencers, we can see that through that data, you collect data from such influencers. Once you give them their goods, your goods to market, once you get data from that, can I be able to introduce a new client to this customer base based on this influencer, or based on the data from that influencer? So you're able to implement business decisions, and you're able to bring in new products probably from your existing one. If this did well, this can also do well in that. So through data science, the consumer is able to get that feedback. And then cybersecurity, I think through data science, you can be able to be on the way of who is checking out your information. Just like it was mentioned earlier, through passwords, once you log in, certain programs are provoked. So with that, you're able to know how to secure your data, and how certain people are accessing their information, and this is, you can see, of course, with the old age generation, not the old age, but the older generation, they access their passwords are different from the younger generation. How they secure their system is totally different from the younger generation. So with that, you are able to get that information from data science. You can find for the older, their passwords are probably as simple, and for the younger generation, we are doing a lot of biometrics, a lot of fingerprints, facial recognition, and stuff, and also complex passwords. And then gaining competitive advantage, of course, through data science, you're able to, once you analyze a market, you're able to know how to present your product to the customers, and hence you're able to get a competitive advantage over your other competitors, and thus that is achieved through data science, of course. Okay, so two other points I'd just like to is capital savings. Of course, through data science, since it's predictive, you're able to make sure that you're able to save on capital. If an area has low feedback or low response to your product, you won't invest as much, but you will invest more in areas which have high response to your product. So with that, you're able to save capital from areas which do not give back as much as the other areas. And then time and efficiency benefits. I know right now, even when you go to your Instagram accounts, you can be able to see what time was your post able to get more engagement than other times. So with that, you're able to have you as a business person able to know, okay, so if I post my product at this time, it will get more engagement than if I post at this other time. So with that, you can get the time and the efficiency benefits. And you can also see maybe probably feedback. Can this good be developed can it be delivered at this time? Can it be delivered at this time? So as a business person able to know, okay, so at this time, most customers are request for deliveries around this time. So at that time, as a business person, you'll be able to work around that. So any questions so far, or any other person who has another point on how we can maximize data science to be in a competitive way for those who maximize it earlier? Do we have somebody else? Or you can drop them in the chat section. I can see them. And then that, okay. So I can move on. Okay, so where are some of the areas where we can apply data science? Though this one was mentioned earlier, but I can just add some more points or just emphasize on that. So credit scoring, I know, okay, in Kenya right now, for those who are in Kenya, there are so many apps right now which are giving credit to mobile lending apps. There are so many at this point in time. And sometimes when you log in and you sign up to be given a loan or to be lended money, they analyze, there's a whole algorithm analyzing how well you're able to pay back, and they can be checking for variables such as age, income, marital status, years at the address. Are you somebody who keeps moving around? And then the years with the employer, that's if you're employed or not. And they can be able to know how much money they can be able to give you and the probability of you not paying that loan or repaying back that loan at a required time. And then recommended systems. I think this is something that all of you, if most of us, if not all of us, have encountered, especially with Netflix. Once you watch a certain movie or series from beginning to end, you can see the algorithm being able to give you recommendations based on that. And you're able to choose other movies and series which was almost similar to the one you have liked, since you have watched it from beginning to end. And the algorithm is also able to note how long did you watch that series. If probably you started and you didn't like it and you stopped watching it, the algorithm will assume probably you don't like that movie, and it will avoid recommending movies of such sort. And then retention modeling. So this is probably for understanding why are customers leaving your organization, or you as a data science, can you give feedback to your client why customers are leaving their products, or probably they are not working with them any longer. And this is, of course, is crucial because it's easier and it's cheaper to serve customers who are already existing than getting new ones, because for you to get new ones, you have to go through marketing, you have to introduce the product all over again, and that's more cost. So retention modeling is something which is important, and this is something actually that also banks use, and one of the way you can retain customers is probably giving them offers, giving them membership access, just to make sure that you retain the loyal customers. Other ways that we can apply data science is response modeling. This is how are you acquiring new customers? I know most of us, when you go on our emails, we find so many promotional emails from different companies. So you're able, that is probably mostly done through response modeling. Probably there's a time you went on their web page and you looked at it, probably you didn't sign up or anything. Through cookies, they can just collect your email address and start sending you emails just to try and gauge you or get you or acquire you as a new customer. And as a data science, you get such information also. If you collect data from a certain organization and you know your client's product is specific to this type or this type of client, you're able to use that data and gain more customers from that. Also, online analytics. I know by now all of us, once we are online on these platforms like Instagram, we start seeing adverts recommending us to certain web pages, and this is something that is done from what are you looking for when you're online. When you go to Google, do you start looking for mathematical courses? Do you look for science courses? When you'll be on your Facebook, you'll start seeing them advertise information related to that, or just websites related to that. And through that, you're able to get that. And also, you can, as a data scientist, I know you have seen this in form. How did you hear about us? Did you hear about us from Facebook? Did you hear about us from Google? Did you hear about us from another platform? So that data, you as a data scientist, is very important, because you're able to gauge, okay, we got more customers from Google this time or this week than we did last week. We got less customers from Facebook, this time than we did last week. And then we have HR analytics. This is mostly used to evaluate the employee performance. The HR, that is the human resource, is able to gauge you as an employee. When this employee is in, how much are we able to get from them, or how much income do they bring in the company? When they're absent, how much income do they bring in the company? All that time that we have hired this employee, how much income have we gained from them? And also the satisfaction. In comparison with when the employee started the job and where they are now, do they seem to be more satisfied and more pleased with the job? Okay, so so you can just put in more ways you feel like, or that we can be able to get information from using data analytics. So in conclusion, just like it was mentioned before, there's a process of analyzing data. And so data science is just a skill that is applicable in all areas, medicine, finance, agriculture, and all these other areas. And it is very important because it helps us not only to make conclusions now concerning today, but also for future. We are able to know how to gauge from that. So that's the end of my presentation. So thank you. Unless there are any questions,
Thank you.
we can pick them, or also, yeah, I can see them on the chat. I respond to them. Thanks.
Thank you, Stella. Someone was asking if you can share with them the presentation you used.
Yes, sure, no problem. I will do that. I'll leave a link, a Google form link, a Google link.
Okay. And from the audience, do we have any questions for Stella? Okay, since she's going to be with us throughout the end of the presentation, if you have any questions, you can keep posting them in the chat and she will be glad to respond. And please, Stella, can you please share your LinkedIn? In case
Yes,
some of the members would like to continue the discussion with you.
Yes, I will do that. Yes, sorry, let me just remind you, I'll be taking you guys through R programming every Friday. So just be at the lookout of that for that from 8 p.m. East African time. Every Friday we shall be having R classes. We'll start from the introduction all the way to machine language. So I'm looking forward to meeting you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella. So we shall move on to our next speaker for today. But remember, before we close off this, we shall be sharing the curriculum for the bootcamp. So please keep on. Also, it will be shared in the WhatsApp. Our next speaker is Abdul Naji, who is a data scientist in Washington, D.C. Abdul will be taking us through the session on how to get started in data science and the tools that one needs to know to get started. So Abdul, please, the floor is yours. Okay, I think Abdul is off. Okay, let me share the curriculum if I can do it with my phone. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, it's visible.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
So our bootcamp will officially kick off on 15th of February, which will be Monday, this coming Monday. And the coordinators of the bootcamp will be Arun Mbabu and Winnie Mandela, who is not with us today. They organized this bootcamp, and I would like to invite Arun. Arun, if you are here. Arun. Okay. The bootcamp
We
begins
can
on
see
Monday,
it.
and the bootcamp will focus on Git and GitHub, programming and data structures, mathematics and statistics, machine learning, and every weekend we shall be having a series of machine learning in R, and Stella will be taking us through the machine learning part. So I've just briefly talked about what will be covered, but we shall also be having Python, SQL, and we shall do R and R Studio for visualization. The general topics, we shall have introduction to data science, modern data science tools, have you guys heard about SQL? I would invite some of you from the audience to tell us about your experience, if some of you have already done something or you know something in data science. Just sorry, are you trying to communicate something? Okay, I see something from in the chat, and I don't think I can do this simultaneously, shaking the chat while sharing the screen. So you can let me know what you're seeing, because I've just switched the windows. Yes, briefly, this is what we shall be covering. I'm going to make sure that I share a curriculum both in the WhatsApp and the Slack channel. Maybe to talk about this, what learners are expected.
Okay, most.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's Aaron. I'm speaking from.
side. So
Okay, Alon.
I wanted to say that okay. The next speaker will be joining it. Maybe you take allowed 20 to yeah,
Pardon?
maybe 25
Pardon,
minutes
please?
before it ends. I was I said you'll be joining after 25 minutes there. So if anyone has a question or you want any clarification about the program, they can be asking, as well as you share
Okay.
the curriculum.
All right. So, Speed, are you with us? So, Peter?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have the curriculum?
You're the one you're presenting.
Yeah.
Yes, I have
The
it.
curriculum.
So you kindly help me share with your screen.
Yeah, sure. Let me share.
All right.
And to all learners, if you have a question about the program, want any clarification, kindly unmute your mic and ask, but do it in an orderly manner so that we can't cause commotion. So if you want any clarification, anything that you want here, kindly you send it into the WhatsApp group and the Slack channel. We'll be sending the curriculum there after the event.
And the first two speakers are still with us, so you can drop any questions, and they will be glad to answer.
Also, addressing the first speaker, I don't know if you can hear me. The first
Yes, we can
speaker,
hear you.
I wanted to address the first speaker, who is the founder of data science. Okay, sorry, at the heart of data science. Maybe you can share some insights on how to gain the best from the boot camp, how he learned data science. Yeah, given a chance, how he would redo the learning of data science, how he would learn data science if given another chance, so that we can have a learning flow of the process. Or you as a learner can have a skill or something to look at as you learn. You have the goals, what you want to achieve. Yeah. So either the first speaker or the second speaker, one of them can talk about it and make it brief so that we can give the third speaker a chance. So Stella, are you with us still?
Yes.
So yeah, I wanted briefly you share with us, yeah, how you learn, how you approach the learning if you're given a
Okay. I think the question is how I would approach learning if I'm given a second chance. Um, I'd research more. I would ask my tech mentors. I would involve them. I would do more projects. I know it will be a lot of workload, working. I mean, learning something new and and having to do the projects and the assignments that we'll be giving and having to understand this whole interface, but you will still have to go the extra mile. Today I had something that I found to really make sense to me. This was from Dr. Bright. For those who know him, he's a cybersecurity expert. So he said, it is good to aim to perfect one skill using a 30-hour rule. Probably in those 30 hours, you can be breaking them at intervals of 4 hours, 4 hours, and then just learn how to focus without social media distractions. At this time, we have a lot of social media distractions. Just try and train yourself on how to focus without those social media distractions. If you start with the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, just completely focusing on what you're doing without any distraction, you will start getting the groove, and your mind will start just getting the mentality of just being focused and having tunnel vision towards what you're doing. So I am also going to be with you, or for those who are going to try the 30-hour rule, that is something I want to try and implement. Probably I'll try over maybe from tomorrow, from today, just to see how effective that is, of which I think it's very effective to just really focus on something for 30 hours and then just give myself 4-hour breaks to between that, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes between, or 1 hour between, just to do whatever I will need to do. And then I see how effective it is. But it's really important for you to have a strategy of how you plan to learn. Don't just learn, have a strategy, write it down. This is how I want to learn. And then I will also share a tip online on how to look up resources that I feel that is very effective. And for those who are doing, probably you're still in campus, you need to research on things, I will share a tip that was also shared on how to look up resources based on what you're doing, so that you can be able to get the maximum out of it. Yes, so I think that's basically it. Just have tunnel vision, focus, have a strategy of how you want to intend to get this knowledge and go above and beyond. It will mean a lot of sleepless nights and everything, but if you look at it 5 years from now, it should all make sense. Or 3 years, or probably 2 years, it should definitely all make sense. Yes, I think that would be my strategy if I'm given, if I'm to do this again, of which I still learn. So that's a strategy that I intend to use. Somebody asked, where do I work at the moment? I currently work at ACWIT, African Center for Women in Technology. I teach programming. I also run the organization African Tech Girl, where we teach programming to individuals between the age of 7 to 18. So if you have a young sibling and you want them to, and you feel they can be able to, not you, but you feel they have the urge to get into programming, send them my way. Yes, thank you. Somebody has said, please elaborate on the 30-hour rule. I think then the best thing I can do is probably just share a clip I took from that, and then you guys can also just see how he was able to break that down. But he said, the 30-hour rule is just basically you focusing on that one skill and taking, dividing that by 4, and then probably that will be around 7.5, 7.5, 7.5, 7.5. So after every 7.5, you break from that, and you can just be taking breaks, of course, but you like a majority of the time you're focused on that one skill and perfect it, and then I'll move on probably to another one or improve on it on a higher capacity. But I will share a clip. I mean the snapshot I took from that. Yeah.
Thank you, Stella.
Yes,
As we wait for that, there's a question.
One question. You said you'll be taking us through our programming on which days?
On Friday, from though the curriculum will be shared with us and even with you guys, but we shall be having sessions for Friday from 8 p.m. East African time. Yes, up to around 10:30 East African time. We shall start this coming Friday. We shall just go from basics all the way up to machine learning. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are too.
Yes, sure.
Also, some of the members can be sharing with us what they expect from the boot camp. Why did you guys join? What were your expectations? We would love to know. I'll give this question to Stella or Alun. Someone asked, what about Python? It's already on the curriculum, but maybe one of the two can elaborate.
Okay, I think I'll take that question. Okay. We'll be on the curriculum it is stated that we'll be doing three languages. So yeah, you're starting with Python, SQL, and R. We want in the curriculum we'll mainly focus on Python, R, and SQL. But as a stack we'll be doing for data science we'll be doing Python and R for the curriculum. Then we have R. Okay, I said Python and SQL, sorry. Then for R, I think we'll be handling it separately, where we do everything exhaustively, yeah, from the scratch to data science, data analysis, exploratory data analysis, up to machine learning in R. So R will handle it differently, and Python and SQL will handle them differently. Also, I would like to say this: we'll mainly focus on Python, SQL. Yeah, we will focus on their libraries. We'll also focus on mathematics concept. Another thing about Python, we will learn Python as a language for a software engineer. So you have to master Python, yeah, during the days, and also we'll have a certain training for data structures. At least you can know the basics of data structures. And I think if you're still with me, you can show on the chat box. So yeah, if you're with me, just indicate in the chat box. So we'll cover mathematics, statistics concepts. We'll cover them deeply every sessions. Yeah, and SQL will cover it too. Then R, we want to segregate it differently so that we can have a different, yeah, like a track that you know every Friday I have to attend a certain class in R, so that you can master R and Python. You don't mix the two. Another thing, we have project after 2 weeks. There will be writing an article after every week, every 2 weeks. Also, the format of the bootcamp you will get to
Emma, we are losing you.
sorry.
There is that background
What
sound.
what about now?
Emma, we can't hear you.
Let me try and fix something.
Pardon?
Okay, so while he's fixing that amongst us, let me just show the students or the individuals here what I meant. Okay, the 30-hour skill is just like I have described it. So let me just show you a tip, a trick I learned today. It might be helpful to those who are in campus. You know, maybe you're doing your master's or probably you're doing your. So you will come to your web page and then, or your web browser. I hope you can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Let me just get a confirmation for that. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
You can.
Okay. So in case you're looking for something, you want probably a PowerPoint presentation on Python, you just write site full colon com file type dot. Now mine is PPT because I want PowerPoint presentations there, and now the heading of whatever I'm looking for, and then the internet will automatically give me PPTs related to that. If I want a PDF of the same, I just write, instead of PPT, I just write PDF, click on that. Okay. Let me just remove this. This should be PDF. PDF, let us see what will happen. Okay, you know, this is like bypassing, so I don't know if that is what the issue is all about. Okay, yeah, so it gives me just Python sheets and everything. So in case you just have like a topic you're doing in campus, probably for those who are doing mathematics, you can have like something like tests of hypotheses, which we shall look at in R. So if you click on it, you can just find the different articles with relation to that. Okay, and then they're all PDFs, right? So there's also another trick, you know, entitled index of. Now this is for linear algebra. You can even look for something like, let me show you, University of Nairobi resumes. Let us see what will happen with that.
We
We
can't
can
see your
see.
screen.
Oh, okay. Let me then stop sharing. I don't know what happened. I think, okay, resume representing. Okay, so I don't know, where did I lose you guys? Where did I lose you guys?
Just a few seconds ago. It's okay. You can
Okay,
just proceed.
so once I type on University of Nairobi resumes, you can just see resumes for different individuals, lecturers, your normal students, that is accessible to you. So even movies, whatever you're looking for, this is a nice strategy you can learn. So that I learned from cybersecurity. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share.
Hello guys, so am I audible on this side? Okay, it's Alon. I changed my PC, so I wanted to know if I'm audible so that I can go on.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I don't know what you understood, but I will say this. Okay, in the program we'll be having certificates. Okay, I will try to answer some questions, then I will repeat what I said. So about Python, I said we'll cover Python as a programming language, then we'll cover Python for data science. We would discriminate it and look at few concepts. We'll cover Python exhaustively. Someone asked about the curriculum. Okay. Someone asked about, the certificate, and will there be certificate at the head of the program as a proof of knowledge gained for easy securance of a job? Yeah, that one I can confirm. There will be a certificate, legit certificate that is endorsed by hiring firms. Also, I think at the head of the program we'll be having you'll be having a hackathon, a data science hackathon, maybe on natural language processing or something else, where the first winner will get a textbook from Data Science East Africa, and you'll get a swag pack from Data Science East Africa. Then also on our major, or what we'll major on in the program, we won't run data science, but we want to run data science the simplest way. So we will look at, okay, we'll be starting with version control system, that is Git and GitHub. Then we will cover a few mathematics and statistical methods. We'll do a lot of calculations. I can assure you that. So go prepare yourself. Okay, there is someone who says he can't hear me. I think, is it right? Am I still audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I was saying that we'll start with version control system, then we'll go to mathematics concept. On version control system, we'll cover Git and GitHub. You'll have 2 slides for that and an assignment after every concept. Then we'll go to mathematical concept. And during the program, you'll be getting, every week you'll be getting 3 PDF materials, and you'll be having 2 lectures every week. So you'll be having 2 classes every week and 2 PDF materials. Then after every 2 weeks, we'll be having a project. And after the first 2 weeks, we'll give a project, you'll give an assignment, and those who will respond to the assignment is the one we'll divide into groups and start giving project and group-based or peer-based project. About certificate, I think I clarified that. We'll also be having a 2 or 1 month internship, or a program to help you work in a live data science environment. We'll try to get you somewhere you can work from, but it will be totally remote. So you'll be working as a team using the tools that you'll be using, that is Git, mathematical concept, Python, SQL, and R. Okay, another thing I wanted to clarify about the higher classes. The higher classes won't be affected by anything. They'll be going on every day on Friday. Any other question for me? Okay, or any other question that I have not answered? Another thing, on behalf of Winnie Mandela, I would say that she will be joining. Yeah, she will be joining us. Yeah, I think she's almost joining us now. Will online lectures be recorded and shared for reference? Yeah, we can assure that we'll try to record all the classes, but we need your help to host few. Hey, Winnie Mandela, if you're present, kindly confirm. I'm seeing someone who says Winnie just joined, so I don't know if she is in. You can confirm.
Oh, Alone. So Peter joined with
Yeah.
Winnie's account. So
Yeah,
Winnie is
I
not with
understand
us
that.
today.
So I thought she and used someone to confirm. Okay, if she hasn't yet come, so
Can
carried
we
off
ask?
event at the timetable will be sharing after the first week. What time are classes? Classes will be flexible according to your response. We'll be sharing a lot of forms so that you can fill and tell us when do you want the next class to be scheduled? What time is appropriate for everyone?
It's a how many
Okay,
days?
yeah. All instructors will be telling you where they work from, but I think Stella said the art of data science that Ejano said. Okay. Any other question that you have? Anything that you want to share? Any question for me?
It's a how many days boot camp?
Okay, as it was said in the advert when you applied, it was a 10 weeks boot camp. Then we'll be having a 1 month internship program. Then after the 10 days, after the 10 weeks boot camp, we'll be having a hackathon in collaboration with ZD Africa, where you have to solve a certain problem for a certain given period of time. Any other question? Okay, if there is no any other question, I think what I will do, I will give 5 people a chance to unmute their mic and do it simultaneously. Please don't do at the same time. Okay, as I said, the boot camp is free of charge. And also we have, okay, I should mention this. We have a physical boot camp that will be, okay, I'll be answering this. We have a physical boot camp at Nairobi that will take from July, it will be 12-week boot camp. Then after the boot camp, you'll get 3 months attachment or 2 months attachment. That will, yeah, it's clear now, I think. So yeah, so I'll go on. So I was saying there will be a physical boot camp at Nairobi from July, which will cost 35,000 Kenyan shillings. But any virtual boot camp that is conducted by Data Science East Africa is free. I will answer something that is coming from a spam account. Yeah, is machine learning okay for? Is JavaScript okay for machine learning? Okay, let me start with the first question. Is JavaScript okay for machine learning? Personally, I would say yes. I do, okay. I'm from a software engineering background, then I did data science. Currently, I'm perfecting my skills on machine learning. I would say I'm a software engineer and a data scientist. Okay, in my software engineering, I used JavaScript so much. So when I came to machine learning and data science, I decided to look at a few languages few libraries for machine learning that are JavaScript libraries. So I think for the last 1 year, I've been learning a lot about JavaScript and machine learning. And I think I'll be sharing something at Radance UK CityJS conference about the same. So I think I can share the link to the event here. Okay, look at the event, look at the link that I'm sharing, then you can get the link there for the event. Yeah, I think, yeah. From the link you'll get, okay, you'll get my Twitter post, yeah, which is on 24th March, yeah. Yeah, the conference is organized by, okay, it is based in London, UK, so it will take part in 24 to 26th of March, where I'll be talking about machine learning for JavaScript, or JavaScript for machine learning, or machine learning using JavaScript. Then someone asked, can you join after this? So I think you can talk with Winnie Mandela about that. I'm not sure if you can join. Are we paid for attachment? For virtual internship, we won't pay. Yeah, I'll say that. We are offering training for free, and we'll give you 1 month attachment free, which will be virtual. But for those who will be joining physical bootcamp, which will be held at Nairobi from July, then after the bootcamp, we'll be having 2 months internship where you'll be paying the interns after, okay, then. But for any physical internship, we want to be paying. Yeah, sorry for that. Any other question? Okay, if there is no other question, or as they go on asking question, okay, the links will be posted on the Slack channel. I think everyone has the link to the Slack channel, to the Slack workspace. Let me reshare it, I think. Yeah, just 1 minute. Sorry for that. I want to copy the link here. I want to share the link to the Slack workspace for the Data Science East Africa Bootcamp. I think I just shared. Yeah, you can use it to join. So what else I want? Okay, the link will be shared on the Slack and also on the WhatsApp group. It will be shared there. Also, the material will be sent on Slack workspace on. So I said the Slack workspace and WhatsApp group will be sharing materials there. Okay, I want us to go on asking questions. I can give 5 people a chance to share what they expect from the bootcamp. Please, when you take more than 5, okay, when you take more than 1 minute, I'll mute you. So I'm giving 5 people randomly. I don't know, I won't mention anyone, but kindly unmute your mic and share what you expect from the bootcamp. I'll be answering the questions about, I think, yeah, 5 people. We don't have volunteers who want to share what they expect from the bootcamp.
Okay, hello. Hello, my name is
Yeah?
Dennis.
Yeah, go on.
My question is, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, my question is, after we have done the bootcamp, can we be shortlisted for maybe any job opportunities as a data scientist?
Okay, I will try to answer that question the best I can. So you can mute your mic, so please. so that we can't have a lot of noise in the background.
Have you heard my question?
I'm trying to answer your question. So I'm saying you mute your mic. So I got your question. You was asking if you can successfully
Okay.
get a job as a data scientist. So I would say we will try to make the boot camp as more interesting and resourceful as possible. And after the boot camp, we'll be sharing your project and your experiences, what you have achieved, what you have covered. We'll help you to write CVs and share with the few hiring managers around in Kenya. And okay, in your local countries and also globally, we'll try to get those hiring data scientists and we'll try to share your CVs and project that you have done there. So I think after the end of the boot camp, you'll be in a position, if you're serious about the program, if you put a lot of effort, you'll be at least a junior data scientist, but you'll be required to work very hard. Yeah, data science is very broad. Don't mix yourself, number one. Number two, work very hard and smart. Make sure that you do a lot of coding, a lot of practice, do a lot of projects too, to make sure that you are in a better position to show some project at the end of the program. Also, when we give you assignment, when we give you a responsibility to write maybe a blog, make sure that you can write the blog on time and present. Okay, have I answered your question?
Yes, you've answered it. Thank you.
Okay, I've given a chance to someone who wants to talk, who wants to share his expectation from the boot camp. Okay, I get your question. That is Bilala. He's saying we can learn Python and the basics of Python, R, and SQL. So you want us to focus on data preparation, model creation, and the data visualization. Yeah, we have plans for that. That's why we are not sharing the plan from the second week. So what we have is the basics so that we can all be even by the end of the first week. And by the end of the second week, we all will be in a position to understand data science clearly, and you can do something about it using Python, R, and SQL. Then from the second week to the ninth week, we will be focusing on data preparation, creation, data visualization, exploratory data analysis, yeah, how to optimize your model when you have created your model, yeah, how to deploy a model, yeah. So that will come after the second week, but we can't start the boot camp with the mathematical or data science aspect or concept. So you have to start from the basics. We use this process that is called walk before you fly. So you start from scratch and we'll try to make sure that the program is well equipped. If you looked at a certain Medium blog, you can look at our mentors and people will be taking you through the program. So they are experienced, they have the skills, they know what is required by someone who is hiring a data scientist. So I will answer Berida Florence. I will really love to learn from everyone about anything that is necessary to me, to my tech and general improvement. Thank you. Please share the timetable. We'll be sharing the timetable on the Slack and WhatsApp group. Then are we going to run cloud and data science in production? Okay, I will say we'll only recover deployment. We want to do about cloud. We won't cover cloud in depth, but we'll cover deployment in depth. Then Srutan Kilinga is asking, I'm having a problem installing her studio on my laptop. How can you help me?
I've already installed my SQL server, Python and Git. I think we'll be having a session on Wednesday or Tuesday on installing the setting an environment. We'll start with R Studio, R and R Studio. Then we'll cover for Python, we'll cover either PyCharm or Anaconda, but we encourage you to use Anaconda. Also, we'll try to have you to get you install MySQL server and GitHub by Wednesday. Yeah, we'll be having a session on Wednesday about that. So, any other question? Do we get a certificate? I think I answered that earlier. Yep, we'll be having a certificate after the head of the program. So, I want to know if there is any question that I have not answered before. Okay, personally, I've not ever used XAMPP. Yeah, I think I tried it once, then it frustrated me and I dropped. So I'm not a PHP dev. So I would say MySQL using XAMPP is not a good advice for a data scientist. I won't discourage you, but you can try. Personally, I've never tried it. Yeah, someone is sharing his experience on the chat box. My expectation for me at the end of this bootcamp is to gain more knowledge on data science, and you'll be covering data warehousing. I think we'll briefly cover that. Data warehousing. We have a okay. There is someone who is called Matthew. He works at data science. He has prepared some slides on data engineering. I think on data engineering, we'll be covering data warehousing. So we want to be focusing on data warehousing a lot because data warehousing is focused on the side of data engineering and we are focusing on data science. We can't, okay, I want you to be clear about this. We can't cover everything within 10 weeks. So you bear with us. We'll only cover data science, then concept for machine learning, advanced concept on machine learning, data engineering. Maybe we can cover them later. So our focus is on mathematical concepts, and after mathematical concept, you will also be covering a few concepts on programming languages. Also, you'll cover a few concepts on how to write good code. Then later we'll be giving more emphasis and stress. We'll try to have you learn the data science concept. That is the purpose of the boot camp. Yeah, as I said, we'll be doing real life project after every 2 weeks. We'll try to get the data from local and global sources. Also, we encourage you to be using Kaggle. Make use of Kaggle a lot. You can get a lot of data from there. Also, we'll be partnering with ZD to organize at least few hackathons and real life projects. Someone else is sharing his expectations. My expectation are to learn new skills, concepts, that is Richard Wambua, in data science, and also to have fun in the process. Hope the timetable will be favorable to most of us. Yeah, okay, I would like you to do this. If you're a student, type student. If you're not a student, type a senior citizen, just on the chat box. If you're a student, campus student, yeah, doing masters, PhD, undergrad, just, yeah, student, I can see. Okay, share your student with their school, campus, Kaidre. Hey, mention your school too. Student, University of Nairobi, student at Kenyatta University, Jomo Kenyatta. Yeah. Thank you. Belinda Egerton, Karaoke, UON, Philip at Zeku University, Derek Kazungu at Zeku. Yeah, I can see. Okay. Baraton University, we have Makerere, we have University of Nairobi, we have JQ at present. We have International University of East Africa, Uganda. We have Bodo College, Nile University. St. Paul's University, Bodo College again. Kindly share. I want Kirinyaga University present. Hey guys, keep sharing. I want to know. Yeah, University of Nairobi present. KCA took present. Okay, I can see the majority are students, so you try to have a flexible timetable that will favor, that won't interrupt your normal routine at school. Okay, I think, is Moses back?
Yes, I'm on.
Moses Matov. Okay, thank you. So I think, is that presenting?
Alone is the third speaker
Go
coming?
on.
I think that is Abdul.
Yeah, the speaker will be starting the talk at 5:05. So I wanted them to, yeah, yes, confirmed that you'll start his talk between 5 and 5:05. So in case of any question, you can keep asking.
Okay.
I think also you can mention about the campus ambassadors. You have a program with campus ambassadors.
Yes. I don't know if you have my other colleagues are still here in the meeting. My name is Matom Moses. I'm the campus ambassador for Makerere University. Currently, I'm a lone member, and I would like any of you, if we have students in Makerere who would like to join me to move this forward, you are very welcome. Just inbox me after the presentation and we see. I would open the floor for other campus ambassadors to introduce
Any campus
themselves.
ambassador present, kindly.
Hi, I'm Suspita. I'm Suspita from Seiko. Don't mind the name. I'm representing Mandela in this call, but I'm Suspita representing Southeastern Kenya University. I'm Campus Ambassador Seiko.
Any other campus ambassador present or someone who would like to speak or someone who would like to be a campus ambassador? Kindly, it's your chance to talk.
Yes, if you are here and your campus is not represented and you would like to be the campus ambassador for your university or your campus, kindly let us know.
Okay, those who are commenting on the chat box that they would be interested in becoming campus ambassador, you can check the number that I've shared, or yeah, you can check the number and talk to Winnie Madela. She'll give you the closest. So I think I'll be sharing a certain number on the chat box. For those interested in becoming campus ambassador. Okay, someone is asking, can I be self-taught data scientist? What do you think? Can you share your opinions? Just try answering in. Can I be a self-taught data scientist? What do you think, guys?
Personally, I think it is very possible. I've seen a lot of comments from different people who are self-taught, and these days we have platforms which focus mainly on data science and, for example, DataCamp and DataQuest. They have well-organized curriculum. So if you can invest in their courses, they take you from the very basics up to an expert level data scientist. That's my opinion. I think it is very possible someone can give their opinion as well.
Who else wants to respond to him? Henry, if you want to respond to him, yeah, it's your chance to respond. Yeah, what do you think? Can you be a self-taught?
Hey, I think you can be self-taught. It just depends on the determination, the resources that you're using. And I think if you lean on becoming self-taught, it's also advisable to just have probably a mentor guiding you or somebody who is already in that field to just guide you, especially when it comes to projects, so that they can verify that whatever you're doing is actually in the right track. Other than that, I feel like it's possible. Yeah, and if you can also do it as probably you can get a group, just a couple of, or somebody, just an accountability partner, somebody who can push you through, and you can be able to just push each other, so that you can just keep the momentum of learning going on, so that you're not, I think one thing I have also realized in tech, you can start something and you can quickly drop it because you can find something else. So just having that tunnel vision, that just having a strategy, I want to do this, and giving yourself a timeline probably, and working towards that and making sure that is perfected towards that timeline, because no, you'll be strict because now the thing with being self-taught, some people, I think, lose it once they don't give themselves the timeline to when I want to actually be done with this, or to get to not just be done, but to have understood something from this. So if you just leave it to the open, that's where it becomes tricky, because you can be self-taught for a whole year, and in that whole year you already forget the basics that you did in January. But if you give yourself a certain timeline, I think that's possible.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, Aaron, you talked about WhatsApp group. Is there a link to join? Yeah, I think there is a link to join. If you want, you can share. Okay, you can send your contact to the number I sent, or you can just inbox the number that I sent to their app. They will add you. Also, you can talk to any Mandela. She'll be adding you in the group. So Aaron talked about, yes, you can be taught a self-taught data scientist. Data scientist requires a lot of determination, focus, and consistency. About consistency and focus, I'll be saying this. You can't run everything in one day. You can't run everything in 1 week. You can't cover everything in data science in 1 week or in 1 month. You have to be kind to yourself. Don't try to master everything in 1 week, 1 day, 1 month. Just give yourself a time. Give yourself some time to master everything, to process what you have learned, repeatedly do what you have learned. Yeah, I think that will be, yeah, that's all about being kind to yourself. Has the third speaker joined the meeting? Moses.
I'm trying to check to confirm. I don't think so.
Abdul Nahil. Yeah, someone is asking who is our third speaker. The third speaker is Abdul Nahib, Nabib, who is a data scientist at Washington, D.C. Okay, let me get in touch with him just now. And if you have something to share, you can share us. I get in touch with him. Just give me 5 minutes, 2 minutes to confirm that. Someone with something to say, anything that you want to know.
Someone
Yeah.
asked in the chat the duties and responsibilities of a campus ambassador. Can I answer that?
Yeah, you can answer.
Okay. Your major responsibility would be to help your fellow students grow and empower them to impact their communities using data science tools and technologies. So as a campus ambassador, will be required to form a community in your campus, create a WhatsApp, Discord, or Slack channel to communicate with fellow students who have interest in the field, and also organizing meetings. They can be virtual within your community. And the organization, Data Science East Africa, will be supporting you throughout all that course. So in case you were to call out any activity you can just talk to either Alun or Winnie Mandela. That's in the sense that you want to organize a meeting. They can help you get speakers, and also after going through after going through that process, initiation, the organization will give you a t-shirt and headphones as a campus ambassador. After holding an hackathon showing that you're really serious with this. Yeah, I think I answered you. I've just been informed that our third speaker is joining in a few minutes. So still, if you have any questions, you can drop in related to becoming a campus ambassador for Data Science East Africa. I know we have other members here who are not represented.
Hello, I think I've shared the title to the third speaker. Who was the third speaker? I'm trying to answer that. Our third speaker is Abdul. He's joining in the next 2 minutes or one. Sorry, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'm trying to answer the question, who's our third speaker? Yeah, our third speaker is Abdul. He's based in US and he is joining in the next 1 or 2 minutes if you have not joined yet. Okay, professionally, he's a data scientist at Department of Healthcare in United States, Washington, DC. He's a junior data scientist and will be sharing with us his experience, yeah, what he has learned, yeah. So I think we can wait for 2 minutes for him to join. Kindly the host, you can let him in. He's trying to join, so the host, you can let him in. Also, anyone with something to share, any question that is not yet clarified for you? Any question for me for Data Science East Africa? Just anything that you want answered, you can ask now.
Yes, Alon. You emphasize the use of Anaconda, and
Sorry, I
I'm not sure.
didn't.
I've not used Anaconda before, but I've used PIP.
Okay, fine.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, my question was to Alun. He emphasized the use of Anaconda, and I've personally been using PIP. So I wanted him to clarify why he thinks Anaconda is the best substitute in case I really have to change.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Kindly ask again. Moses, you had a question for me?
Okay. My question was, you have emphasized the use of Anaconda, and I
Yeah.
personally haven't used Anaconda, but I've used PIP. So why do you think Anaconda is the right or perfect substitute?
Okay, I will say this. Anaconda comes pre-installed with packages that you need for data analysis for your data science project. It comes installed with a few libraries. Let's say Matplotlib, it comes pre-installed with NumPy and Pandas. So you'll have, like, you don't have to install libraries again. Maybe what you have to install is something like I think it doesn't have TensorFlow or PyTorch, so you install them separately. But you just run pip install, Coda install, TensorFlow. So I think Python and using Anaconda saves you a lot of time. So yeah, I think it is best for junior data scientist or who is joining data science. If you want an interactive web-based environment to code your Python or data science project, I really would encourage you to use Anaconda. So I can see we have the third speaker, so you can give him a chance to start his presentation.
Hello, Harun. Good afternoon. I think it's evening in Africa. It's morning over here. 9.
Yes, Abdul, if you can hear me, the floor is yours. We are so happy to have you.
Sure. Just I'm going to show it right now.
Yeah, I think Abdul, you can start your presentation here. As I said earlier, Abdul Najib is a data scientist who is based in the United States. He works for the Department of Healthcare Finance in Washington, DC. So he'll be sharing his presentation on data science. I think it is the time I give him. Yeah, he'll be sharing on the roadmap to becoming a data scientist. Welcome, Abdul. You can start your presentation.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. So I did not create like a very thorough presentation because I wanted to speak with all of you more rather than you concentrating on my presentation. And I thought what's the best way to show someone how to become a data scientist? So I'm going to share with you my roadmap, basically like what I did. And hopefully it helps some of you in the future to understand some of the things that an experienced a junior data scientist, a senior data scientist, what do they need, right? That's the main question that we're gonna try to answer with this presentation over here. So I think it's switched off.
I'm trying to get this into presentation mode. Just a second. Okay. I hope you guys can see. Please let me know if the presentation is
Yes.
visible. Okay, so
Yes.
one of the first things that you need to on the journey to becoming a data scientist is the skills of programming. Now, when you go into programming, there are several ways where you can start from. There is C, C++. Those are one of the most basic programming languages that many of the people start learning from, and that's where even you can start learning from. But if you feel like you know the concepts of C, C++ like pretty nicely, then the next thing that you can jump on is either Python or R. I don't know how many of you have heard about the language R. I'm not talking about the letter R. There is a language that's named just R, and the other one I think most of you might know, which is Python. When you start learning programming, the basic concepts that you need to know is at least like what are functions, what are while loops, what are data frames, what are different types of data, what is an integer, what is a character. These are like the basic, very basic concepts that you need to know at least to get started, right? So that is where you would start learning the whole process of data science. You don't When you're building, you don't go and you build the 50th floor first, right? You build the foundation first, and then you build the ground, the first, second, third. So this is like the most basic foundation building thing. Even if you're not going to go into data science in the future, you should at least start with some programming, because you might learn some things across your way and you might think, okay, wait, data science is not just the only thing that you can do. You have these skills, you can maybe become a data engineer or something else. So that is about programming. And next that you need to learn about is databases. Now, what do I mean by learning about databases, right? Now you've learned all of this programming, you're becoming good, you're starting to do some projects, you have your IDE set up and everything, you've learned Python, everything. And now you want to find where the data is, right? When you go online and you start doing projects in Anaconda or whatever IDE you're using for, the first things that you learn is that the data sets available out there are very small when compared to the data sets that are in real industries, like industries such as like what I work in. I work in the healthcare industry. So you will start probably learning with small type of data sets, like which can be stored on an Excel file, and maybe that is good for 100 rows of data. What do you do if you have 1,000 rows? Okay, maybe Excel is still good. Now you are getting 10,000 rows. Okay, maybe Excel is still good. Now you're getting 20,000 rows, and then slowly you reach like half a million rows, then a million rows. And Excel start off like it's not very feasible to start reading from Excel, right? And you might be good at Python, you might be good at reading, but even then, half a million, it becomes very hard to store on your PC, whatever PC you use, whatever your local machine you use, and view it all together. So that is where databases come in. Now, databases are these great things where you can dump all of your data. Maybe it'd be half a million rows, million rows, and they store all of your data until you need to work on it, right? So what are some of the common databases that data scientists work with? So, and what's the language you use to talk to these databases? Now, remember, I told you to learn programming first, because if you get good at one language, then you start becoming good at other languages. So the language that I use in my workspace to talk to databases is SQL, structured query language. And structured query language is a simpler language compared to Python, right? So once you are comfortable with this, you start getting comfortable with this. If you start learning straight away about databases, you don't understand anything, right? And databases allow you to like keep a small amount of data with you on your local machine, where you can test all of your modeling, your all of the analytics, fun stuff, and then maybe you can test it out on a database by using SQL to scale up your models so that it can work on a database. So one of the databases, now everything is migrating towards the cloud. So one of the databases that is provided to us is by either Amazon, that's right now that's right now like one of the leaders in the cloud market. The other one is Microsoft. So to talk to an Microsoft database, you need to use softwares like Azure Data Studio. In even in Azure Data Studio, what you write is SQL to retrieve data. So with databases, SQL is like the most basic thing that you need to learn. Even if you know Python, even if you know R, SQL will be one of the main languages that you will have to learn. Now, you've done your programming, you've done your databases, you're like, okay, Najib, where's the fun stuff? Where's machine learning? There are still few steps before we can reach to that. Next, you have to learn some math. Math is extremely important when you want to become a data scientist, right? If you want to become an analyst, even if you want to become an analyst, which is like not a lesser role, I would say, but it is not as demanding as a data scientist, right? So when you want to become an analyst, you are learning things like statistics. You're learning things like mathematics, like basic mathematics, at least so that you can understand what you are doing. Because because at the end of the day, all of this code, all of the algorithms you're using, they come from mathematics. They are a formula. They are a formula that you're using to apply on your data sets. ML, at the very essence, at the very, very essence, ML is like basically you're creating a function and you're trying to find the variables that fit the function perfectly so that you can replicate those same things in a different environment. That's like at the most basic. So you need to understand some level of math. Now, math is big. So let's talk about which kind of math, right? So you want to be able to learn like how to solve equations, what are to some extent calculus, but I wouldn't say like directly get into calculus. But you will eventually have to learn calculus, because if any of you know anything about neural networks, there is a very famous algorithm in neural networks called the backpropagation algorithm. Now, if you go online and if you start searching what is backpropagation algorithm, you will not understand anything because it is written in differential calculus, right? So you need some level of math, at least enough that you understand the statistics behind data science, correct? So that is about math. So we are done with programming, databases, math. Now what's next? Next in our path is version control. Now, I don't know many people don't, many people that I attend webinars or I go out to attend, I haven't seen many people focusing on version control. By the way, please, if I'm going too fast or you cannot understand me, please stop me and ask doubts. I think we have a Q&A session after this as well, right? Harun?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a Q&A.
Okay, so if you have any questions, just note them down. If I'm going too fast or something, please let me know. I'll go slow so that you can understand me well. So, anyways, we did our math, we did our programming, we did our databases. Next is version control. So, for version control, one of the things that you have to learn is Git. Git version control. So when you work in industries, you are not allowed to look at all of the data that you have access to, right? So what you do is like there are these commands, there are these repositories. Repositories is basically like a store of all of your files that is either online or on some server. So you request access to your administrator. You ask them like, so the commands are like git pull so and so product. So there are many functions in Git, and you have to learn version control, because what happens is, now say you have a website, you have a very nice working website, and Harun wants to work on a new model and he wants to apply it on the website. So he asks his boss, boss, I want to work on a version of the website and use my algorithm. So you cannot give Harun the access to the version that is you cannot give him access to the complete website, correct? So what version control allows you to is basically create a branch of the code that Harun can work with, and once his model starts working perfectly and is not disturbing other things of the website, he can tell to his boss, okay boss, my algorithm is working amazing, I can create this dashboard now, I want to update the website. So you merge Harun's branch into the main branch so that the main comes with the updates whatever Harun did on the website. So version control allows you to basically, like, so that the website doesn't break, because if you work on the main branch and if you break something, then the website goes down and you don't want that. So that is why version control is super important. Many people don't teach you this, but I think you should look into it to some aspect. And okay, so now you're done with all of this, math done, all of this done, then you start with the data science basics. Now, what do I mean by data science basics? By data science basics, I want you to know that the field is super big right now, like very big, correct? So there are like four main categories, three main, I guess. Yeah, three main categories according to my uh, for me in data science. So there are areas where you can go into supervised machine learning or unsupervised, or you can go into reinforcement learning, or you can go into deep learning. I think four, yeah. So these are all the tools, the algorithms, they are confided under these four what do we say, groups, you can say. But in data science basics, what is the data science basics is, like, you need to at least understand that what people are talking about online in papers before you can even apply. So data science basics might include like learning at least supervised learning. So I had a block for machine learning basics as well, but these two are kind of like same. Machine learning basics and data science basics, they stem out from the same rule. So when you go into AI, if you want to do AI like on a big level, many people need a PhD to do that, but you can learn something at least so that you at least know, okay, this is what I want to do in the future. So there is one more field, like robotics. Like by data science basics, I mean like you want to know where in the future is you want to apply data science, right? You want to apply it in robots, you want to apply it in web applications, you want to apply it for healthcare. Get a goal, get some goal in your head, like, okay, I want to learn data science, good, but where do I want to apply it? That is like the question you need to ask yourself, and you need to be like, okay, I like this. Maybe somebody likes baking breads, they work in a bread factory, and they want to know what is like the downtime when there is no dough or something, and how they can maximize that. And when you go out to see which algorithms can help you with that, that's a totally different field then of data science. So you need to understand that when I say about like data science basics, it's more like, what do you want to do with data science? That is the question that you need to answer at this part in your roadmap. You've learned so much, and now you have to create a future. You cannot learn everything. So you sit here and you think, okay, I want to do computer vision, I want to do algorithm building, I want to do research. That is this step. This step is important to realize where you want to take your future. And after you've realized where you want to take your future, you start with the machine learning basics. You start to learn the supervised learning algorithms, if that is what will help you. You start to learn unsupervised learning algorithms, if that is what will help you. You start to learn reinforcement learning, if that is what will help you. So answering this question for you is important to go more into depth while you're learning machine learning basics. In general, you want to know a little bit of everything, but in some topic you'll have to do a deep dive because you cannot learn everything. Uh, there are many things in machine learning, and you want to know what you want to do. And after you've finished with the learning of basics like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning, deep learning, these are like the four pillars of machine learning. And after you've done with like the basics of that, you can move on to some other stuff like time series and model validation. Now, what is time series and model validation? And why do I want to talk about this? Many of the things that you see in the market is about people wanting to know something from data that has been previously recorded. And that data might be in the form of Excel sheets, good. But most of the data at some places, at least in supply chain industry, supply chain networks, is of the form time series. Now, what do I mean by time series data? Time series data is anything like how many hours a person is working daily and a record of that over a period of time. So the x-axis in a time series data is the time, x is the time, and y is the quantity or whatever. And there are many specific models like linear regression. People also use sometimes neural networks to predict what's going to happen next. Uh, Working on a time series data, you can use something like logistic regression, linear regression. There are very certain models that I'm not able to get back right now. Uh, but you can look into like time series modeling. There are like I think like 8 or 9 modeling patterns that are there in time series and model validation. And if you like this, you want to go in this field, then start learning more about time series. So after you're done with that, maybe you want to jump to more advanced stuff, and you come to the super fun stuff that's going on in the machine learning uh, world, basically you can say, which is neural networks. And once you start jumping into neural networks, it starts to become super hard to keep growing because understanding neural networks requires a lot of advanced math. And even to you can use models that have been built already and implement them. True, you can do that, but always you want to have some level of understanding what this model is doing on the underlying side. So to read that, you need the math, and without that, you cannot reach this step basically. So this is going to be one of the tough parts of your roadmap because we are coming to the end of the roadmap right now, right? So neural networks is like the one of the last steps that I feel you should start taking. And above neural networks is when you start going to deep learning. Now deep learning and neural networks is like where you begin before you jump onto deep learning. Deep learning is basically these amazing neural networks that are able to create functions on almost any sort of random on any sort of data set that we have. So when you have a function like a normal parabola, it has like a double it like we know like a parabola has it has a curve, it has the lowest point, and it stands in an equation someplace like ax squared minus bx, and you want to find the a and b so that you can fit the parabola. What deep learning allows you to do is like when you don't have like clean functions like these, like the parabola, you have like very curvy functions and all. Deep learning allows you to fit an equation through that. and it allows you to like navigate, like in simple terms, it's like trying to mimic a function that is very eradicate. Like you cannot fit a third degree polynomial, fourth degree, but deep learning allows you to fit a function through the line, and then it tries to predict what is the next. If x is this, what is y? If x is this, what is y? And when you get into deep learning, you will need neural networks and a bunch of other stuff. You will need a lot of computing power to do any sort of significant deep learning, I would say. You can use Google Colab, or some of the like the online tools that are available. Google Colab is one of the good tools that my friends use and to learn deep learning, because many of our computer processing speeds are not enough sometimes to start deep learning. And one more other fun that is about deep learning. Um, One more other fun part of machine learning is natural language processing. This is an amazing field. So NLP requires its own different set of algorithms and different set of mathematics and different set of knowledge to understand natural language. Natural language processing is basically what I am speaking with you. You can understand. You have a brain that has been listening to English maybe since a very young age, or sometime in the middle you started picking up English, and our brain is very good at natural language processing. But computers, they are super bad. We have got now amazing algorithms to make it understand natural language, but there is still a lot of research left in this area. And one of the software, one of the in Python, the library that allows you for NLP is NLTK. That is one of the language. That is one of the what do we say, packages that I know. NLP is not my specialization as such, but there's also a great field if you want to go into that. And I think you should learn NLP the last, because it requires a lot of science, a lot of linguistic science, and many other stuff like phonetics, and what is segment analysis, what is semantics, and a lot of other in-depth knowledge to even start doing NLP. And that is the end of my presentation. Any questions? Welcome right now. Thank you, everyone. Yes, that is all about the roadmap. Someone raised their hand. This is my first time with Google Meets. I'm sorry if I cannot see your raised hands. Harun, if you could just like ask them to speak if they've raised their hand. I'm not able to figure out Meets. This is my first time.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, my name is Felix. I was asking, you said for me to start doing artificial intelligence on a larger scale, I need a PhD. Is the certificate really necessary? I mean, what if I'm doing self-teaching? I'm teaching myself, and I see that I'm making progress. Do I really need to go for the PhD?
I see. So, good question. Let me. So your question is basically, at which point do you need a PhD? Is that what you're asking? At which point do you need a PhD? Because for AI.
Yeah.
So
Or
what
is
happens?
benefits really necessary at all?
What are the benefits? Okay. So one of the benefits that is, what do we say, of a PhD is the visibility that you get in the market, right? You could be doing like the greatest research, and that's maybe when you come into the eyes of somebody, right? But when you start doing a PhD, you start to real like when you're doing a PhD, it's your job to learn. It's not anymore like a side thing for you, right? So you start to see when you start learning through a PhD that how much you don't know and how much you are knowing through just online learning will take you only till a good extent. Like if you want to become like, I would say, like the best of the best, it would take you more years by yourself basically than if you just get a PhD. That's my point, to get a PhD. But like this, we are talking about like super advanced stuff. For starters, you don't have to think about PhD. Just to become a data scientist, I don't think you have to think about PhD. But if you want to do like the super tough stuff, like maybe you want to build like a general artificial intelligence robot, correct? Those are like the kind of projects, if you want to do, you will definitely need some form of PhD, because you cannot keep learning by yourself all of these things. You will not have the funding to apply these things to whatever things you want to apply to. You will not have the supercomputers that you need to apply your algorithms or your research, and you will not have enough information from Google. You will have to go through scholarly papers and such to basically learn those kind of advanced stuff. I think that's when you need a PhD. Before that, for most stuff, I don't think you will need a PhD. I hope that answers your question.
Abdul, I'm not sure if you can access the chat, but I posted my question there. Maybe if I can just repeat it.
Okay, I can see it. Is it a good idea to? Oh yeah, this is the best. I guess if all of you can just put it in chat, I'll just keep on answering one by one. Um, is it a good idea to take on an NLP project for my final year at campus? It is good. So the field of NLP is one of the fields that hasn't been like completely explored, I can say. There are still many things that are there in NLP, like there are these big transformer networks that are coming in NLP, right? I don't know if you've heard about like the transformer that OpenAI created. Like I think they had like 135 million parameters or something, and that was like the biggest transformer. And that transformer was able to write poems by itself, songs by itself, but and even you can use it. That's the beauty of it. After it's been trained once, it took like $500,000, I guess, or like no, I guess it took $4 million or something to run all of the processing on it. And after that, even you can use it. So NLP is definitely like a great field that you can still explore more into. And for your final year, I would suggest something like doing segment analysis on like Twitter feed or those kind of projects for your final year. If you have the knowledge, then I would say go more in depth and try to see what are the harder projects, if your time allows, if your semester time allows. I hope that answers. Okay, so the next is, what are some of the challenges that you have faced as a data scientist? So before I was working in DHCF, that is where I work right now, DHCF, Department of Healthcare Finance. I was working as a intern at this startup called Unique Computing. So my job at Unique was very challenging. My job was basically, there are these big organizations here in the US called like some DOJ, DOD, NIH. So DOJ is Department of Justice, DOD is Department of Defense, NIH is National Institute of Health. So these people, they give out like programs where you can apply to get a grant, right? And for being able to apply to these programs, you have to do a lot of research, make up your own product and present it to them, correct? So my job was to go through I had access to my university library. So my job was to go through like maybe say 500, 600 research papers, go through them, understand the summary, understand what is in depth in them, and make a summary for my CEO. And so that he can use that summary, come back to me, and then say, okay, do this, do that, change this, change that. So I think that was like one of my most challenging times. Right now, I just started at DHCF, so I haven't faced like such challenge right now, I would say. I hope that answers that question. Next is, does it mean I have to be employed as a data scientist or any other, be it AI or ML? So data science is a very broad field, right? So the good part is you can be working in your industry as something which does not even revolve around data science, right? I know many people personally, through right now, that who have gone through, who did not, who are mechanical engineers at the start of their career or something, and have transitioned to data science, right? Is it easy? No. It's very difficult. It's good that if you are employed as a data scientist, uh, so that you can work with AI or ML. But if you are in some other field, like if you're a software developer, if you're a graphic design person, if you are even in some other field, it is possible that you can see some opportunity in your workplace to apply data science. But it is very important that for that to happen, you have to learn by yourself then. So if you really want to learn, if you really want to do it, and if you can apply to some place in your own place, that's like a good starting step into data science. You'll start to see the challenge to how you can go towards data science at your own workplace, and then you will see, okay, slowly, if you keep doing this, eventually you'll become a data scientist. It's like that. It's like you have to start doing data science to become a data scientist. It's not like you become a data scientist and then you start doing stuff. I hope that answers that question. Any other questions? I'm looking at the chat, by the way. If some of you are feeling shy right now, or if you have no questions right now, it's okay. I totally understand.
Hello, Abdul, can you hear me? So,
yeah. Yes, Harun.
yeah, I wanted to share some insight or advice to learners who are learning data science now. What your advice, or what could you tell them to do? And the easiest way to master data science quickly, as quick as possible.
As quick as possible. Okay. So as quick as possible, if you want to learn data science, start doing projects. That is, even if you don't know anything, go to kaggle.com, sit over there, look at some code, and start replicating that project at least. Okay. If even if you're not doing it, just start copying it at least at first. That is the best way to like start at least something in data science. If you're done with the programming part, just start doing some projects. Start something. Even if that might be the worst project you did, do it. Do it, present it. Because a data scientist is not just someone who can make all of these great algorithms, right? They want to be able to communicate their idea. They want to be able to communicate through visualizations. They want to become able to communicate with analysis, right? So get 5 friends together. Or if you're in this boot camp, you have friends over here. Awesome. Get 2-3 people, tell, okay, let's work on this project, present it to whoever is your senior, or if you are going to just present it to everybody, just do that. And realize the challenge that, okay, when I'm presenting, how am I speaking, is my idea going right to this person or not? So that's probably the fastest way, I would say. Just start doing projects. Okay, I have some more questions here. I have their answers, Harun. I think that's how you become a data scientist, like super fast. Just keep doing projects. As a software engineering student, will it be hard for me to cope and integrate both concepts plus projects? I don't think so, because many of the data science students, although they don't come all from software background, but that helps them give one step ahead, right? Because they're done with the part of understanding the programming, the databases, maybe to some extent the math. So all they will have to learn is math, maybe presentation skills, and projects. Basically, those are like the three things. And integrating both concepts plus project, that's a very good question actually, because you have to think, with this project, which concept am I trying to showcase? If I do an NLP project, I'm showing my NLP case. If I'm doing a computer vision project, I'm showing my computer vision concept. So you have to think which concept you're trying to show. That is what this question depends upon. As a software engineer, your concept could be improving your website using data science. That project might be easy for you, but some other, like NLP, might not be so easy for you. So will it be hard? It depends on that. That's my point. Average salary for data scientists in Washington, most in demand field for data science. So that's a question. Sorry, what's the average salary for data scientists in Washington? So the average salary over here is, I guess, $110,000, 110 to $115,000 before taxes per year. For beginner, sorry, that's the other question. Most in demand field, it is one of the most in demand fields, I can say. There are other things as well. Software engineers are also highly valued in DC, because most of the contracts in DC are federal based, and they need a lot of software engineers. They have started acquiring data scientists right now, so they are in demand, but very few places are very good at it. So yeah, 110 to $115,000 before taxes. Um, Also share some resources for reading or watching. Okay, resources for reading or watching. So one of the resources for reading would be Towards Data Science. That is one website. Um, uh, Let me see if I can pull up the link and just share it in the, yeah, chat. So Towards Data Science is one. Katie Nuggets is one place. Kaggle is one place that you can read for data science. And for reading or watching, for watching on YouTube, if just there are many gurus right now on YouTube, so you can just find one and stick with them, right? So one is Ken G is one of the creators that I know personally and is good uh, around data science. He gives good advice. Ken G is one. You can start over there. And there are others that are not coming to my head right now, because I don't watch any more of these people right now, right? So you can start with Ken G to watch for data science, at least. Um, which SQL server can you use to practice SQL statements? So one of the databases that you can use on your computer is SQLite. Okay, so SQLite allows you to create databases on your local machine. You can start using that first, and after you've mastered that, and then maybe you can move towards your something like a Microsoft SQL server using Azure Data Studio, or if you get access, then Amazon SQL Server. You could try Oracle, but I don't know how many people are using Oracle. I haven't come across Oracle, at least until now, in my work life. Microsoft SQL Server would be your go-to server after you've mastered like using SQLite on your local machine. You can even use I think MongoDB, MongoDB SQL Server. You can use MySQL or MongoDB database to get started, and how to connect to it. How do you set it up? How can you send data to Mongo? what is JSON, how do you use JSON, those kind of things, fun stuff. You can start doing that. Um, for practice, I would say just use SQLite. Yes. Nuran Muhammad asks, what's the most useful books for data science beginners? Okay, for data science beginners, there are, mm, for me personally, I have acquired my knowledge through courses. So one of the good books to start data science would be my friend Tom. I don't remember the book's name. My friend Tom Ives mentioned this book. Um, there is no like what are the most useful books for data science beginners. Any book that teaches you the initial knowledge that you need for data science is decent, I would say. Just Google like data useful books for data science beginners, and then see what are like the first few uh, options that come up, and then see if you can afford those. That's like how you can get started. I don't have like a special books that I suggest, because I myself haven't read many go-to books for data science, right? That is my thing. You said you acquired knowledge from resources. Can you recommend some? Okay, so I acquired my knowledge from Coursera.org. Coursera.org. They have a course called IBM Data Science Professional, as far as I remember, certification. That is one of the courses that I started with, and this is one famous course by Open.ai on Coursera. Andrew Ng is the uh, teacher for that, and those are like the starting places for beginners, I would say. Coursera. If you cannot afford Coursera, then there are many Udemy courses, but I don't know many Udemy courses. You can follow a person called Danny Ma on LinkedIn. He keeps sharing many Udemy courses online, and if anybody wants to connect, they can connect with me as well on LinkedIn, so that I can answer their questions throughout their journey. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I reply a lot of people over there. A lot of people come to me a lot with a lot of questions. So if you don't have any question right now in this session that we're having, but you have many in the future as you're going along with your project or something, you can just connect me over there. How can you connect Jupyter Notebook with SQLite when practicing? So I haven't used for me, I had a MacBook, so I used Xcode to connect SQLite with my code. So over there, I was using the GRDB package, right? So for Jupyter Notebook, for SQLite, for practicing, I'm not sure. But in Jupyter Notebook, you can just there are these magic functions to use SQL. You can Google about it, and if you find something on that, you can start learning over there. That's how you can do. And for Jupyter Notebook, SQLite, I'll also have to see. I haven't done it before in any of my projects, but check out magic links. Like press using SQL in Python using magic links. Let me see if I can find it for you. Using SQL in Python with magic methods, I guess it's called. Jupyter Magics, I think you can follow this article. Towards data science, this article is from. You can start, if for reading, somebody asked a question for reading, right? You can even read Medium. Medium is a good source. What certifications can lead someone to a cutting edge job in the market? So this question is very difficult to answer, because there is no, even right now, there is no like set certification that, okay, Francis has done this, give him a cutting edge job. It's not like that. The market doesn't work like that. The market works on the basis how well you present online yourself, right? You have to become good speaking online. You have to become very good speaking online, and you have to become very good presenting yourself online. So the more you start showcasing your projects, you could even not have any certificate, but if you have like good 5 projects showcased and put up on your LinkedIn, put up on your GitHub, put up in your blog or anywhere, you will start to come under the notice of some people when you start applying. Uh, and to get a cutting edge job, almost all of data science is cutting or bleeding edge, I would say. If they are not doing data science, you will know. So if it's not cutting edge or bleeding edge, um, you will know basically it's not right for you. um, I have I hope that answers the question. There is no, so to summarize my point, there is no set certifications. It's just how visible you are in the job market that you get employed. That is how what I did. I put up my projects everywhere. I talked to a lot of people. I networked a lot, and that is how I got my job. There are way better data scientists than me, of course, in the market, but the difference is that they were not able to showcase their talent. That was the difference. No amount of certifications get you a job if you don't showcase it, right? That's the thing. I have a scholarship in Coursera. Which course is the best for beginner level? For beginner level, for data science or for learning programming, you asking? Um, you can start with this certification that I've suggested, IBM Data Science Professional Certification. If you have a gameplay, if you have a scholarship in Coursera, you can start with this uh, course. Let me pull up the course actually, if I can, really quick, so that you don't even have to do anything. Just click on this. Yeah, do this. Yeah, start with doing this. One of the other projects is open.ai Coursera. Deep learning course. No. I don't know, they have many courses, but this is what deeplearning.ai. No problem. You're welcome, gameplay. There's also one of the courses that you can start with. Should you start with supervised learning? Absolutely, yes. The first thing that you need to learn in machine learning is supervised learning. You need to learn everything about supervised learning for sure. The easiest thing to understand in machine learning is supervised machine learning, because it deals with data that is already known to you, and it deals with data sets that you can work with. Um, the next question is, glad for your talk. Kindly share a link to your social media follow-up. Sure. Let me share my LinkedIn over here so that whoever wants to stay connected can stay connected in the future as well. This is my LinkedIn. Connect with me, message me, follow me, whatever. I'm very open, and that is and you can talk to me anytime. Don't feel you're don't One of the most important advices that I got is never feel that your question is very stupid. Okay, even if you are like in 100 people, 200 people, 2000 people community, never feel that your question is too stupid. So just put it out there. Or don't feel somebody is too big. Some people might actually be too big, like the president of the United States. You cannot go and ask him questions. But many people on LinkedIn are very friendly. Try asking questions to anyone. For everyone over here, they can follow me, they can add me today, and they can ask me questions like I am your long friend, right? Think of a long friend whenever you're talking to someone like me or somebody online, and you'll feel comfortable asking even the stupid questions, because all of us had to start somewhere, right? If you don't ask the right questions, you'll never grow. Always keep asking questions. That's one of my advice as a data scientist to all of you. Try to keep asking questions so that you become better in this field. And this field has place for everyone. Don't think ever that there are less jobs. Please, can you refer me to a source where I can start learning about automatic speech recognition subtopic under NLP? ASR. Source for learning ASR. Very interesting. So, some of my friends that most of my knowledge comes completely from Coursera. So there is this NLP course. in but you're talking about a subtopic, right? I'll have to see. Umar, you can connect with me on LinkedIn and send me the same question. Probably if I have more time, I can find something for you for sure, or I can ask around from my friends as well. Sorry, I cannot answer it right away over here. Just connect with me on LinkedIn and just copy paste the same question. I'll get back to you when I get the time. Any other questions? Anyone? Harun, you have any questions? Thank you for inviting me, Harun. I wanted to say that. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you very much for a very informative talk. Yeah, I think it was the best, given that we are starting our boot camp, yeah, on Monday. So I would like you to give your final remarks, and help them prepare. So if you have anything else to share, you can share. Then after you share them, Moses will take over at the head the meeting, or they can ask the question that they want.
Sure,
So it's your time to
sure.
share your final remarks.
All right, a few closing remarks. So, whenever I leave like a webinar or something, there is the question of few closing remarks. I want to leave something with the students or senior people or whoever I talk to that they can remember throughout their journey, right? So, this is great saying by one of my friends. He says the world employs those that are the most visible, not the most talented. And I want you to implore on that sentence a little bit. It is kind of messed up, but it is the truth. I would implore all of you to be visible. Um, More than learning data science, present it. Keep presenting. Keep showing it to people, not just your local community, online. Keep sharing your knowledge. Even if you're a beginner, keep sharing it. Share it somewhere on a blog, LinkedIn. Keep sharing it. And the number of people you'll meet is what will make your career, what will make your opportunities come to you, and that is what will help you the most. Even more than learning 100 courses is knowing 100 good people in the field, and that is what helped me, and that is what can help you as well. Like right now, this is good. You came to this boot camp, you know someone sitting in Washington DC working as a data scientist. If you ever come to DC, come meet me. It's fine. I'm very open. I guess that's all from me. Thank you everyone for having me. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you follow my content that I keep posting on LinkedIn, and I hope all of you grow. I hope all of you grow to become better than me in this field. I think that is all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank you
you.
very
And we
much.
would like to do another session with you. So I think Moses will take over. And if Winnie Mandela joined, Pedro Winnie Mandela, if you are here, you can talk to us.
In the
Moses, take over.
in the future, I can talk. You're telling. Your voice is breaking. Sorry.
Yes, Alon was asking if you can join us in the future in case you are called, if you'll be available.
You're asking me if in future I can join another talk.
Yes.
Sure, please contact me anytime. Anytime on the weekends, I have time. You can contact if the same time works for everyone. Every Saturday, every 2 weeks in Saturday, I can come. If many more people have many more questions, I would love to answer them. It's fine. Just get in touch with me on LinkedIn. I think it went a little bit up. My handle. I'll just paste it again down. Just get in touch with me, and I'll be there for sure. If you have more boot camps, if because there is something even I can learn from these boot camps and webinars. I can meet new people. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Abdul. I would also want to agree with Alon that this has been one of the very best talks, and we have learned a lot. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that.
Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm glad you can learn something. I'm glad you can learn more. You can learn way more with me for sure. Just connect with me, ask your questions. I almost like hundreds of people message me, so I might get late to your replies, but I will get to your reply for sure sometime.
All
So
right, thank you.
no problem. My pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to hear me out.
All right, and to the rest of that members who have made it up to this point, I would like to send my sincere appreciation. It's not easy, 3 hours.
It
I
is,
think
yeah. Every 3 hours is very, very hard to be in and to concentrate for 3 hours. I can understand.
yeah, that shows how very determined these people are. Hopefully,
Yeah,
when we speak together, we shall make it through. That brings us to the end of our meeting. I think we shall continue the rest of the discussion on Slack and WhatsApp.
sure. Keep me also connected in those channels if possible. I can share with Harun my Slack ID as well. Um, I can
It will
just
be a
be in it
pleasure.
if it is okay with all of you.
It will be,
Um,
it will
and
be a pleasure having you on these platforms. And I'll talk to Alon and we'll see how we can get you into our channels.
Sure, sure, no problem, no problem. Also, I think there
Uh,
is this integrated meeting that is happening amongst my friends. They're also giving like a introductory boot camp to people. If I get more details on that, I can share with Harun, and maybe if you guys want to join, you can join. I think the class has already started, but maybe the next cycle, all of you can join if you want to. It's free, so it's fine.
all right, thank you. We shall be looking forward for that.
Thank you. All right.
All
I
right,
have to leave right now. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Arun, for inviting me. And I hope to see and talk to you in the future. Bye, guys. Bye for now.
and to the rest of the team, if you want to say anything before we close up, Alon. Okay, I think it will be a goodbye for now. See you on Monday. Bye.
Okay, guys, thank you for waiting and for being with us for 3 hours. So thank you. I think everyone is in the Slack channel, so we'll be sharing the slides from Monday. And also we'll be sharing the link to respective classes and lectures. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll be leaving too.